Hey guys, today we're going to take a look at MiniTool Partition Wizard. There is a few things that I have to clear since I've seen in a lot of comments. A lot of you probably have downloaded the free edition, and I understand the frustration because you expected to have everything inside it for free. That is not true. If you read before you download, it says, for average users to manage basic disk tasks, including disk check, hard drive partition, repartition, and file system conversion. And mostly you'll get probably a few other basic uses, but the pro or advanced tools are not part of the free edition. Otherwise, you can do the trial edition, pro edition on trial, and you get a little bit more use out of it before you decide what version of this tool works for you, or if it works for you at all. And you have them here for home, for business, features and resources and all that good stuff. I'll leave a link in the description to this one. And no, this video has not been sponsored by MiniTool. They simply approached me. Yes, I got a user license for it, so I can actually test this software. And that's all I can tell you regarding my relation with MiniTool. Whether you download it or not, I make no dime on it or have no interest on it. In this video, we're gonna take a look at a few features, because if I told you I'm gonna go to every single feature on one video, we're gonna get gray hair here. So let's go with the basics. And we're gonna be playing because I have a lot of drives here. The only one I'm gonna be playing with is gonna be this drive that I named X. And that's a hard drive. That's a 500 gigs drive. It says 465 here. And let's go through a few basics. You have data recovery, partition recovery, disk benchmark, and space analyzer. Let's go in what these means. Data recovery is straightforward. You hit data recovery, you select the drive that you might have lost files, whether it's in your system drive or an external USB drive or any drive that's attached to your computer. You can go and recover the data that have been lost or formatted by mistake, or sometimes just delete it and you didn't realize that you deleted the right stuff. And here are all the drives that I have in my computer. I'm not gonna go ahead and do an entire recovery because that will take a long time. But for example, you can click scan right here, and this is my media, and it will start scanning for all lost files, raw files, and you can go by file type as well. Documents, pictures, audio, video, emails, archives, database, and other files, which in my opinion, for example, let's say you have a drive. I'm gonna pause this one. You have a drive that you wanna recover only videos from it, and let's say pictures. This is perfect because you can go here, you can check all the pictures that are here if you let it go to the end. After it's done, you hit save and you select a drive where you wanna save these recovered documents to. Do not ever save them to the original drive you're trying to recover from, because that's not going to work, and it will overwrite files that you are trying to recover, and that just makes it a very big of a mess. That on the way, which is a big part of this software. The second one would be partition recovery. Partition recovery is exactly what it says. Let's say you have different partitions on your hard drive or SSD. Now, in one of the partitions, let's see, let me go here and show you as an example. For example, this one, disk 6 I have here, it's a 6 terabyte. Let's say this partition here was bigger, and let's assume this was my drive C, or here's my drive C, by the way, that we can go anyway. Let's say this is our drive C, and by mistake, this one here, somehow you delete it, and you can delete it from within Windows. It's not necessarily delete it only with MiniTool Partition Wizard. Let's say it's gone. What this does now, partition data recovery, when you click on it, hit next, and you choose the drive that you deleted that partition. And as an example, I don't have any here that had partitions before, but let's say this one had that partition that I removed. I hit next, and here you would see in this part, for example, what partitions you had before. Here you can specify a range of start and end headers. In your case, I would always suggest to go with entire disk. It takes longer, but it does a deeper dive to check where your partition that has been deleted or it's just not accessible on Windows is, and we'll try to recover it back with the data inside it. And that is a really beautiful tool to have because it helps a lot. And now, for the third is a disk benchmark, which you can test your drive. For example, let me go to this drive X that we are doing as an example here. I'm gonna do transfer size at 4 KB to keep it simple, sequential, random. I'm gonna do sequential and random to test the header going back and forth. Cooldown time 5 seconds, and I'm gonna hit start. Here now, what it does, it will test your disk, whether it actually works to transfer in and out as fast as it's supposed to, and it will give you kind of a result, almost like we do the benchmarks. It's kind of self-explanatory here, disk benchmark, the same way we do disk benchmarks with GPUs and CPUs, and you will see the overall health of your drive, and you can do that for SSD and hard drive. And I'm not gonna let it finish to the end because this will take a while since it's a 500 gigs disk. I'm gonna cancel it, but I hope you understand the gist of it and what it does and what it means. Now, the other one is the space analyzer. If you ever wondered, for example, how you can check a drive of what it's taking your space mostly, and you can go by file types as well, not just folders, but file type. Let me go to, for example, just a regular one. Let me go to this M.2 here. And as you see, these are the folders. For example, you can go folder view and you have the size here. You can sort by size from the smallest to the biggest. As you see, these 3 folders, for example, can easily be deleted. I'm not going to do it right now, but in this one, for example, the biggest folder that's taken most of my space is this folder here, virtual machines internal. I know what it is, but if you don't know, that's how you can check what's taking most of the space. And in the other way, for example, you can go by files. And these files, as you see, that's what's taking your space the most. This file right here, VMDK, which is virtual machine. And you can just go like that for the whole thing. And it shows you the percentage it's taking in your drive. In this one, it's taking 11.45%. And if you need space and you know this file is something you don't need, you just right click on the mouse and you can delete the recycle bin or permanently delete it. So there's no reversing that action. And that's how you can check, analyze your drive. And you can search for specific stuff in this folder. For example, VMDK we saw, right? .vmdk. You hit apply. And as you see, now it goes only to our .vmdk files. And so on and so forth. You can just use this as you wish to detect what's taking most of your space in your drive. Now we have other stuff. Bootable media. This one is actually very beautiful. If you click on it, you can do the window part of it. You can put a USB flash drive. I don't have one plugged in here, but you can plug in a USB drive and you can click next and you can burn an ISO file directly on that drive. So what you do, you turn off your computer or you can use another computer. When you plug in that drive, it's ready to run from it. So you will have MiniTool going from that drive in case you need to access a computer that, for example, the system has gotten corrupt or Windows is not working and all that good stuff. You can just have access from that drive and check. You can repartition. You can recover partitions, recover files that have been deleted, and it just works like a charm in my opinion. Now, let's check what else we have here. This is our system drive, as you see right here. In our system drive, for example, let's say I right-click on it, and you can do a surface test. If you had a hard drive, you can copy it to some other place if you own the entire drive. You can align all partitions. Delete them. I'm not going to do that. Partition recovery directly on this drive. Data recovery, just as we spoke, directly on the drive. And you can wipe the entire disk. Or here, you can convert GPT disk to MBR disk, which are methods of boot, which here GPT is the newer version and MBR is the older version, and so on. You can here click properties and check what kind of drive you have and what's the size of your drive. That's the 970 Evo Plus 500 gig Samsung, and so on. So now, for example, here is our system. And if I click right here, look at the beauty that we can do right here. You can check file system. Now, yes, you can do this stuff with CMD, but from here, it's easier because you can click check file this system. You can check only if you want to, and don't fix if it detects. I'm going to do this one right now, and it will check now our Windows file partition for any errors, and it will scan for anything that might not be in line. So for example, sometimes that you feel like your Windows is not working properly, or you feel lag and you feel a lot of things that are not going the right way, you click this one here and you check for system file errors on your Windows. And you just wait for it to finish its job, and you'll see if it has any errors, it will tell you here. Or otherwise, you can do the same thing and you can make it check and fix them automatically. And you can click here right away, start, check the next time system restarts. So when you restart the system, then it will start checking for errors in your file system right away. And you leave it like that, you can get rid of it. And next time you restart, it will start checking automatically upon boot. And in my opinion, this is a really good tool to help you check if you have any problems with your Windows file system. Here you can convert different formats, new technology or FAT. You can explore what's inside that drive. You can change the label of the drive. You can copy, as we said. You can change the cluster size, split. You can merge it to another partition. You can extend it if you have another partition inside, format, and all that stuff. And now, since we're inside here at our test media, you can either right-click on your mouse to pull up the options. And let's say we want to split this drive in half, let's say, right? You want to put the first half, let's say you want to put a Windows 10, and you want to save the second half as a D drive like we used to always do, but now it's less of a thing to do, but you may need to do that. So now, let's say Windows needs, let me put it to 200 sharp, right? 200 gigs. So now we have 265 gigabytes to put files on. We click OK, and we hit apply here, yes, and let it do the partition stuff by itself. And when it's finished updating, you'll see now you will have 2 drives. Okay, changes were applied successfully. Now let's go to our file explorer right here and see this is our test media and this is our local disk. It separated it into 2. For example, this one, X, let me change the letter of this one so we know that these are both of the same drive. Since we have the first one, X, we're gonna do this one, Y. Click OK, hit apply, hit yes, wait for it. And as you see here, in real time, it changed it. Now we have this same hard drive, but split in 2. So we have drive X, which we can install an operating system. And we have local disk Y, which we can put personal files. And next time we wanna do something on the first or primary disk, it does not affect our personal files. And this is beautiful to protect your files. So if you have everything put on C, for example, like I have here, that's not really good because my personal files, if I format this drive and reinstall Windows or something else, everything that's on this drive C that's not partitioned will be wiped. But if I install an X, a Windows or Linux or whatever, all the data that's on Y, if I don't remove the partitions while installing, all that data will remain here. It will not be touched. Now, how do you get rid of this one? For example, you want to put it back to normal, let's say, right? You can just merge the partition here on the left side, click this one, and let's say disk 9 is what we want to put together, which is our test disk. Click next, and this is the one we want to grab in and put on the first one. We can hit finish and hit apply, click yes, and give it a second to apply it back to normal how our disk was before. Okay, the changes have been applied, and let's see now the drive. Okay, we go right here, and yes, the drive is now the merged partition content, which we had none, should be here if there was anything in any of the partitions, which that is beautiful, by the way. How this software does it, because a lot of times if you do it from within Windows, actually you run a risk of the files getting wiped. But this software actually saves them. When it merges the partitions, it says, okay, here's your files, so we're good to go. Now, what else I wanted to show you? Oh, here, you can set this one. Let me divide it again, for example. I'm gonna split it really quick. Click OK. I'm gonna apply, and now we applied that. What I wanted to show you here is that you can make any of these partitions as primary. It's not necessarily only the original one. You can make the second one as primary. And how you do that? That's very easy. You click on it. You either do the right click or you click to select, and you go here on the left side and set partition as primary. Click on the second one. It should go as logical by itself, but we're gonna do this as primary. Hit apply, and now that second partition should become our primary, and the other side will become our logical. And that's actually very beautiful and very powerful as a tool, that it can do all this stuff within one software. And again, let me repeat myself. I am not getting paid to say positive or negative things about the software. Absolutely, it is my opinion, everything I'm saying on this video. But I've used MiniTool Partition Wizard actually for quite a few years. It's not my first rodeo with the software, and that's why I don't really have anything bad to say about it, because it simply works. There's nothing on it that doesn't work, and it works with real ease. And now you have other stuff here that you can format, for example, only this partition or this partition. Let's say you want to format only this one and not the second one. You just go here, you hit format, and you can give it, for example, let's say logical. I'm going to put the name, NTFS, cluster size, I'm going to leave it at default. New technology, yes, I'm going to leave it new technology. You hit apply. After you hit yes, the partition now should be formatted. Meanwhile, the second partition of the same exact hard drive has not been touched at all. And as you see, it is done. Now, one big thing that is here that, yes, it's doable with other software as well. I would say it's this migrate OS. I would like to replace my system disk with another hard disk, or I would like to move my operating system to another hard disk and keep the original hard disk in my computer. So, let's say you want to upgrade your C drive, your drive that your Windows is on, right? In that case, you would click option A, insert your hard drive or SSD that is bigger or upgraded to whatever you want to put your Windows on in your computer, either via the SATA to USB converter or one of those disk docking stations. Then you hit next. I'm not going to click it because that takes a while and I don't have another disk to do it here, so I'm not going to just do it for no reason, but you get the point. And now you turn off your computer after it's all done. Take your original drive that you have Windows on right now and put the new disk that you copied your system to instead of your hard drive. And you can just start your Windows from there. And now, boom, just like that, you upgraded your hard drive without losing any data. And you can use the other disk for whatever you like else. Or here, you can just move your operating system while keeping it here. So let's say you want to do a mirror of your Windows to a second computer. Instead of going through the whole thing of reinstalling Windows and especially the updates, you can just do this option B, insert your drive like we did with the first one, click next. When it's finished, take that hard drive, plug it to the secondary computer or laptop that you want to run it from, and now you have a spinning image of this Windows and this computer to that secondary computer. And in my opinion, that is actually a very beautiful option to have, that you can do it directly from the software without having to do command prompts and all that, which I don't mind doing that. But when a software can do it, in my opinion, it's worth every penny. Yes, it's not free, but you can use the pro version as a trial if you don't use it as a technician, for example. If you don't use it for a living, that's a different story. If you want to use it once and done, you can give it a try with a pro and see, maybe you like it. This one actually really saves you time and keeps your system a little bit safer, because now you can do backups, you can do recoveries, you can do all that stuff within one single software. You don't need a million things to go through. And here, I almost forgot to mention, it actually has a user's manual. You click this one here, and here you can go and check what you need help with data recovery, this benchmark, space analyzer, migrate, copy disk, all that stuff that I'm telling you right now. You can go right here and you can learn about it. Let's say data recovery, for example. You can learn how to do it, and it's actually screenshot by screenshot or picture by picture to teach you how to do it. And this is really great. I salute them and I respect them for doing this one, going to this length of actually teaching you how to do it, even though a lot of these software styles, they know they're mostly oriented to technicians. But just in case a regular person wants to learn all this stuff, because none of us were born with this information. I learned it from somewhere. Louis Rossman, Linus Tech Tips, we all learned it from somewhere. And for this software to give you that possibility here with a manual, how to do it without you having to even search on Google or YouTube or all that, that is something to be respected in my opinion. And besides that, there's a lot of options here that we can go. You can hide the partition, as if I did not mention that part. You can change the serial number on your drive. You can change the partition type and ID. You can change the letter as we did, the label, surface test. We did all that. For example, surface test. Let's say, let me grab just this one here. Let me click surface test. You check for errors in the blocks. Mostly, this is strict for hard drives. Not really as much for solid state drives. You can hit start scanning and you will see if any of the blocks in your hard drive are damaged or corrupt. And if they're damaged or corrupt, or there's errors on them, for example, you'll see it on red. You could either run a repair task within MiniTool, or you can do check disk on your own computer, which is quite easy on Windows. And I'm gonna stop it right now because I know my drive is actually good. I always try to keep an eye on them, not to let them get out of hand, but just in case. And now let me revert this drive back to normal where it was before, because I need to use it as a normal drive. I'm gonna click next. I'm gonna click finish. I'm gonna select this partition. I forgot. Hit finish. And as you see, boom, the drive is back to normal. You can wipe it and you can do all that good stuff after you do that. So far, it's been probably years that I've used this software, and I never caught myself wondering, I wish it had this or I wish it had that. So far, it has every single thing that you need to do when it comes to regarding operating systems and drives and hard drives and SSDs and USBs and partitions and space analyzers, partition recoveries, data recoveries, bootable media, migration, cluster size, converting different modes, converting different file formats, and all that. To me, this is worth 100%. It is up to you, depends on your usage, depends on how much technical work you do on your computer. This one could be a lifesaver for a lot of us, actually, especially when it comes to lost data or working with large amounts of data and hard drives and all that. Plus, the software itself, while it's running just regular and idle, actually is not demanding at all. It's just next to nothing. Let me just show you right here. Here's the processes. Here's Partition Wizard. 0% of the CPU and 0% of the GPU when it's just idle. And that means that this software does not keep digging on the background when you're not doing anything. And this is something I value a lot, because a lot of software will do things that are not really that nice to your system. And MiniTool Partition Wizard wins in my book. And with that said, link will be in the description for the software. You give it a try and let me know in the comments what you think about it. And is there anything that I did not cover in this video? I am more than happy to try to answer your comments every time I can. And we will see you next time. Bye!